I just finished my third therapy session with my new therapist. And yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. A lot of things. Can I talk to the people? A lot of stuff came up today. It's so funny how like self-esteem and self-worth issues and lacking, right? Those things can really hide in plain sight. And I'm aware of these things. I'm very self-aware. I've spent the last 5 years analyzing myself to where I know, right? I'm self-aware, but I'm also like still learning because it takes a long time to, put the puzzle together when you are doing it on your own, right? But things can really hide in plain sight, and you have to really like just look at the small subtle things that you feel. My therapist was telling me she gave me homework to write. Ugh, I hate that. It looks. I do not like that. She gave me homework to write a self-compassionate letter to myself, and I don't want to be funny, but I'm also like, I'm trying to like figure out like, I use humor as a way to cope with being uncomfortable with vulnerability, i.e. talking to a camera that, speaking to the public about what I'm going through. But also I got a personality, bitch. But yes, vulnerability. Boom, boom, boom. She told me to write a letter to myself from the perspective of somebody who unconditionally loves me, right? And I did that, and then I told her, and she was like, how did that go? And I told her, and I was like, it felt forced. It felt like eye roll energy. It felt like, yeah, like I know this. Like, I know this. Like, okay. That's how it felt. It didn't feel like a warm hug. It felt just like, it just felt nice. Like, this is nice. These are nice things. Those are nice words. Thank you. That's so nice. Like, that's how it felt. It didn't feel like affirming and validating and just like a big warm hug. It didn't feel that way. It felt forced. And then she was just like, do you feel worthy of all the praise that you wrote? And I was just like, guess what the answer to that question is? I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'm looking at myself, but the camera's right here. So I'm like, where should I be looking? Maybe I feel like it'll be weird if I look at the camera while I'm talking. Is that weird? Is that weird? I don't know. I'm going to look at the camera for the next like 30 seconds while I'm talking, and then I'll watch it back and see. And then I'll determine whether or not I keep doing it. But yeah, she was just like asking like, do I feel worthy of the words that I wrote about myself? And I said no. Well, eventually I said no. At first I was just like, not fully. But I was like, yeah, no, I don't, I guess. And then she was asking me like, do you feel tarnished or broken? And I was just like, yeah. Because there are still a lot of things. Oh, the tears are trying to come and I'm not. This shit feels so cringe to me. Like, it just doesn't feel, it feels like, I don't want to say invasive, because obviously I'm doing this at my own free will, like on my own accord. Like, I'm choosing to do this. I'm choosing to put myself out there like this. So I don't want to say it's invasive, because it's like I'm doing it, but it feels invasive. Like, that's just the truth. Okay? That's just how I feel, you know. But I was telling her there's a lot of things about myself that I still don't like. And I guess until I can get to the destination in which I've healed those things about myself, right? Because like I feel weak, I feel timid, I feel scared a lot, I feel anxious, and I feel like I don't say how I feel majority of the time, or I don't like speak my mind, or speak enough. And it makes me feel less than. That's the words that I used in the session, but I'm obviously very anxious about like the things that I'm sharing. But no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Okay, I'll say. I love myself, man, because even when I'm having these like really heavy feelings, I still find a way to make myself laugh. Like, that's love. But yeah. I'm doing it. And these feelings are hard to sit with. Like, it's hard to sit with knowing that you don't feel worthy of the perception of being this dope ass person that you in reality are, but you yourself can't accept that, because there are other things that you're like, okay, but I still got this issue, and until I can fix this issue, then all the good things over here they might as well not exist. And a big like a thing that I've been getting from my guides, because like I said, I'm a woo woo bitch. The things I've been getting from my guides is just like I'm very much a good. What's going on? I don't know if that's picking up on the sound, but child, somebody running from the cops. A big thing that I've been getting, like a download that I've been getting a lot lately, is that switching my mindset from seeing the glass half empty to seeing the glass half full, which basically just means focusing on the positive and not the negative. And focusing on all the good qualities about myself, and not necessarily focusing all the time on the things about myself that I want to improve. And that's one thing that I'm like real good at. I'm real good at like, I want to change this. I want to change this. I want to change this. I want to change that. I want to change this. I guess what I have to like continuously do, right? Practice, because all of this is just about practice, right? I don't think that people talk about enough how like it's hard sitting with these emotions, but in practicality, in practice, Like healing yourself, changing your life, showing up as the version of yourself that you want to be is all about very small, subtle changes. It's not about it's not this huge revolutionary set of things. It's simple, small things that you start doing, right? And eventually you start seeing changes. It's about subtle movement, right? If you move a fucking pin a centimeter at a time, eventually you gonna move that bitch far. Bitch, I don't fucking know. But yeah, the emotions and the feelings, right, are I think the hardest part of the process, because you feel them in your body and they don't feel good, right? And like a lot of the times growing up, we're not taught how to connect to our body and how to feel our emotions and let them pass and let them go. Instead, we hold everything in, we suppress everything, push it all down so that it doesn't actually leave our bodies. And then we dissociate from our bodies, or at least I did. And then you lose all connection from your body, right? And then that can manifest in all kinds of different health problems. And I think that I'm here to talk about this right here. All I know is that I don't. Is simply me being an example of how you can do it. You can heal yourself, because can't nobody do that shit for you. You got to do it yourself. You got to walk your walk. Okay. And you can do it. You don't have to be afraid, or you can be afraid, but that doesn't mean that you have to not, like, that you can't do it. You can do it. You can heal yourself. You can figure out who you are. You know what I mean? You can find out, like, you can figure out who you are. Just in the way I do it is I do it based on my own strengths, right? I'm very analytical. I'm very Virgo. I'm very in my head. I'm very, what are the facts? Let's write down a list. Let's make a list. Let's plan. Let's get organized. That's how I do it, right? That's how I've done it. I am very like structured in that way. So that's how I've been doing it. But if you are, if you got other innate natural abilities, you have to kind of like hone in on, you have to kind of get more aware of like, what do you naturally do? What are you naturally good at? And then use those skills, transfer those skills, okay, to help you heal your trauma. Yeah. And even if it's not even about healing yourself and trauma, like all I know is that I don't is simply just about being okay with things being uncertain, being okay with walking your own individual path. You don't know what it's going to look like because it's never been walked before, because it's yours. You know what I mean? So you don't know what it's going to look like. You don't know what's going to happen next at moment by moment. And that shit's scary. But if you turn it the other way around, it's exciting as fuck, and that's all. That's what the fuck this is all about. It's about embracing the unknown, making the most of it, and walking your own unique individual path, not being scared to, you know what I'm saying? Not being scared to walk the road less traveled, because nobody can walk your path but you. Nobody. So you're not gonna know what the fuck's gonna happen. The whole point is to just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Very much full card energy if you into tarot and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just kind of wanted to do that, talk about that. I was chatting in my car. Now I'm chatting in my room chats. Hey, room chats. Hey, got the sun and the moon. Hey. So yeah, I'm doing it. I'm sitting with these hard ass emotions. I'm being very candid and very open about the fact that I struggle with self-worth, with feeling worthy, with self-esteem issues, and insecurities and all these other things that have led me to make decisions in the past that did not serve me. And now I'm here and I want to do things differently and change. So you heard it here first, folks. You gotta love yourself, man. And you don't really understand what self-love is until you start to practice it. Yeah. Because you can say all these things. Say, hi, mama. Oh, it's my mama. It's my baby. It's my baby girl. Ooh. Ooh. You can say all the words. But if you don't believe them motherfuckers, then what are we really doing? You know? I actually got a download a couple weeks ago regarding this. It was just like, you can say all the positive affirmations you want, but if you're not actually going to look at the ugly thing that you, like, if you're not going to actually look at the issue, right? Like, look at it and acknowledge it and take back your power and say, I see you. I know you're here. I'm acknowledging you. And, you know, I still love myself through all of that. That's when the positive affirmations are going to have to come in. You can't just positive affirmation yourself into loving yourself if you're not choosing to admit that you don't. The fuck? You got to admit that you don't love yourself before you actually start to love yourself. And that, even though I'm like all cutesy and like, that's some sad shit to admit. Like, that's hard. It's hard to admit that. It's hard to admit that you don't love yourself, or that you don't love everything about yourself, or that there are things about yourself that you hate. And that's hard. Like, I'm not going to lie and say that shit is easy. It's not easy. It's not easy to sit with the emotions that come with that. But with practice, it gets easier. And I believe in you. And I believe in me too. So, with that being said, I bid you adieu.